This week on Sportsfeed KC from the Kansas City Star. College hoops are lacing them up. How Guardian caps might change the game. Sports betting hits the Sunflower State. And the strange lure of Scorigami. The feed is next.
Hi, I'm Randy Mason, and this is Sportsfeed KC. Sports videos that aren't exactly like anyone else's. Right now, I'm in the nerve center of sports betting, inside the Hollywood Casino at the Kansas Speedway. It's where the governor placed the state's first legal bet back on September 1st on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, of course. But hoops are starting to heat up here now, too, so we'll make that the first stop on this show. KU and MU are known for their preseason festivities being real spectacles. And the folks at K-State are getting pretty revved up about life after Bruce Weber. The tour starts in Lawrence. DJ Diesel, a.k.a. Shaquille O'Neal, pumped up the volume. A brand new banner was revealed. And Bill Self basked in yet another wave of Allen Fieldhouse adulation.
And that's what tonight should be, is to celebrate the start of something fresh and new. But at the same time, we're the only school in America that gets to celebrate a national championship.
And oh yeah, the Jayhawks took a test spin with 5 new faces for the fan base to get familiar with. Alongside such battle-tested veterans as Jalen Wilson, DeJuan Harris, and KJ Adams. With talk of running it back and the football team's unexpected success this fall, you can't blame Coach for getting a little bit giddy.
Lawrence, Kansas has become the place to be.
Meanwhile, in Columbia, the Tigers decided to take it all outside, unleashing an array of lasers at the historic campus columns. Members of both the men's and women's teams showed off some shooting prowess and a lot of fancy footwork. New coach Dennis Gates helped lead the cheers, and if you're thinking, that looks like Norm Stewart, you're right. The 87-year-old came out for some Mizzou madness, too. No such mayhem in Manhattan, but there is excitement brewing there, literally, over their new coach, Jerome Tang, a Baylor assistant who took the reins from Bruce Weber this spring. His arrival timed fortuitously with the local brewery's reissue of its seasonal favorite, Tang Party.
We actually hosted the entire K-State basketball staff here. They came in, Coach Tang got to pour the first beer off tap, and he drank it. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. He doesn't really like beer that much. He admitted it, but he was super generous and kept saying how he liked the beer. When Coach Tang came in, he just breathed a whole new life into it. And all of a sudden, people got excited about basketball again. They were ready for it. And then he started bringing in recruits, and it was like, all right, here we go. Like, let's do this. There's a really big hype and excitement around basketball this year. And I think K-State fans are being cautious, I think, about their expectations for this first year. But you know how sports are. You know, we win one game and they're going to expect a national championship. So,
in case you're wondering, the Jayhawks' odds to repeat as national champions are running about 18-1. Okay, the Chiefs' training camp was a long time back, but something we noticed then is the focus of our next story. Remember those mushroom-looking things on offensive and defensive linemen's helmets? Well, they're called Guardian caps. And while they're new to the NFL, turns out that high schools and colleges have been using them a lot. With concussions back in the news big time, their role seems likely to just keep growing. Guardian caps, which the NFL says exceeded expectations by reducing concussions 50% during the preseason, were developed by Guardian Sports, headquartered in Atlanta. Originally, the plan was to create a fully soft shell helmet, but data and cost effectiveness led them to an impact-reducing model we'll call soft, hard, soft.
So you have the hard helmet part to help prevent skull fracture, but then soft to absorb some of the blow at the point of contact. You still have the padding on the inside. They just found that was kind of a better engineering model to reduce more impact. A lot of that research is showing those smaller repetitive impacts are adding up. So if you can reduce some of the blow, hopefully we're making a difference.
We initially looked into them and purchased a handful, and something that we'll still end up using occasionally here.
Avila was one of numerous colleges and high schools that opted into the idea as early as 2012, just as concussions and CTEs were making huge headlines nationally.
The best ability is availability. We preach that all the time. So when it comes down to concussion or the tweaked hamstring or whatever, you want to make sure our guys are staying safe.
And do people resist wearing them, or how do they feel?
So we've had some guys kind of complain about how kind of bulky they are, how they can get hotter. Again, we don't use them a ton, or not all of our guys will use them, and that's one complaint that people typically would have.
We've never had any pushback from kids, even when we first got them 8 years ago. We just say it's part of your practice attire, and it's what you have to have, and they don't complain about it weighing on their head or anything. I think they're pretty light.
Other than a few players who've purchased high-tech helmets for themselves, the Jaguars all wear Guardian caps in every activity, except games. That's not allowed. As big a believer in the caps as Willis is now, especially for linemen, he admits that it did take him a while to get accustomed to one aspect of them.
When you're doing a drill where kids are hitting each other and tackling, and you really just don't hear anything, so you kind of yell at the kids, why aren't we hitting each other? Like, let's go. But they are, it's just the sound is muted by the protection on the helmet, which is good.
Unlike some schools, Blue Spring South has not been deterred by concerns that Guardian caps might void a helmet maker's warranty, leaving them with the liability. Tony Plagman stresses that the caps don't alter a helmet, they merely strap onto it.
In the case of a catastrophic injury, all parties are going to be named, in that lawsuit. Nobody can remove themselves. They can't say, hey, no, we're off the hook, unless they prove that our product made their product less safe, which they've had over a decade to do and can't do. And obviously the NFL testing kind of validates that as well.
At the end of the day, players, can say, they look funny, this and that, but in the long run, it's going to help your head, when your career is all said and done.
Do they prevent everything? No, they don't, but any little bit will help, I think, for us, especially in this day and age, keeping the game safe for kids, and that's what we're about.
And safe for the moms.
That's right, safe for the moms, keep the moms happy, that's right.
Kansas actually has 4 sites where you can place a wager on a sporting event. Each of those is affiliated with a different gaming platform. Here, it's Barstool Sportsbook. In the first month of its operation, almost 2/3 of the state's revenues came from here. No doubt aided by the casino's close proximity to the state line. They say they're starting to see a bit younger crowd too. Back on opening day, the Star's Rich Sugg talked to a few of the first folks to participate.
I'm very excited. I think it was a perfect day because Mizzou starts their season today. I came put some money on Mizzou. Just makes it a lot more fun, and I think it's a great opportunity for the government to get some more revenue and for people to have fun and gamble a little bit.
It's great. I think they're getting their feet underneath them, new people, but it's going to be great for the state.
Good idea.
Sure.
What's your bet on? Chiefs?
Kansas State over 7 on the win total for the year.
Build it, they will come. Take a look. Who have I bet on? Nobody yet. So I can't believe that my Chicago Bears are a favorite. They haven't been a favorite since I was thin. So Kansas shows they're ahead of Missouri again. I think that it's going to bring great revenue to the state. And let's face it, we love betting.
You could, of course, just download an app and do your betting that way. But before you start to parlay or play the over-under or any of the other possibilities, you'll have to have your feet on Kansas soil. Your phone knows. Of course, the numbers and strategies and possibilities can be a big part of the attraction in all this. Producer Candy Bolden has found something that's fun for both sports fans and nerds alike. Get ready for Scorigami.
Have you ever seen a football score and thought, wow, that has to be a first? Well, it's less likely than you think, but you can know for sure with Scorigami. The Scorigami bot on Twitter, created by Dave Mattingly, tracks the chances that an NFL game ends in a score that's never been seen before. Scorigami itself was invented by John Boyce. There's even a chart to go with it. Scores marked in green have occurred, while scores marked in white haven't. The scores marked in black are impossible given current NFL rules. Here's a recent Scorigami, 48-45. That was the final score when the Seattle Seahawks beat the Detroit Lions on October 2nd. In case you were wondering, the Chiefs' last Scorigami was December 12, 2021. Kansas City 48, Las Vegas 9.
And that concludes this edition of Sportsfeed KC. Next week, Arrowhead Stadium turns 50, and flag football is picking up speed. Might even be part of the Olympics soon. For the Kansas City Star, I'm Randy Mason. See you at the bank. Okay, not on the Bears, not on the Bills, not on the Broncos. Got to be somebody, not on the Browns.